Hey, it's TR back with another Truck Camper Restoration video, and today it's all about insulation. And it's time to insulate. Insulate. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. It must be an Idaho thing. Yeah, I am at the point now in the build where it's time to insulate, and I've had a hell of a time saying that word. Actually, about a month and a half ago, I sat down with my book. This is my sort of log, diary, whatever you want to call it, that I keep on projects like this. I like to write things down. They stick in my head better if I write them down. Eventually some of this will make it into a computer, into a CAD drawing. So what I use this for is I like to sit down and I can think through on paper what it's going to take to get a specific part of a project done. In this particular case, the insulation. So what I did was I sort of just roughed out some of the rough dimensions. I'll get this up here so you can see it. All right. So this is kind of a 3D isometric of the shell itself. And what this represents to me is that this blue is 1.5 inch insulation. The red is 3/4 inch. You might note that underneath the bed deck there, I'm going to be using 1.5 inch insulation. So whenever I get inch and insulation together, I have a hell of a time. So under the bed deck here, all right, since this is a 2x2, that 1.5 inch is what's going to go in there. Okay, so the reason I did this is because I was looking at insulation and I was looking at the options that are available. And one of the things that came up is that I couldn't find 3/4 inch insulation. Okay, that's 3/4 inch there. And I looked everywhere and I could not find that 3/4 inch insulation. I'm saying that slow because I screw it up frequently. Anyway, that forced me to look at other alternatives. And with respect to insulation, you want to get the highest R value possible. Keep in mind, and you probably know this, R value is the resistance of something to transmitting heat or cold, okay? We're going to leave it at that. I could get into the scientific terms and all of the stuff that goes into it. What you need to know is more is better. We all know that, hopefully. And in the particular case of the truck camper, I'm really limited on what I can do. So that led me to thinking about closed cell spray foam insulation. That was complicated by the fact that you need to know how many board feet of spray foam insulation you need to do the project. And I didn't want to underestimate, then have to wait another week for more spray foam to come in. I like to keep my projects moving along. I started working on the insulation in my book on the 28th of July, and today it's what, the 9th of September? Well, my battery's dead, but I think it's the 9th of September. So I was planning ahead, trying to accommodate anything unforeseen coming up, like not being able to get 3/4 inch insulation. So what is a board foot anyway? Try to imagine in your mind's eye, this is 12 inches by 12 inches, but that it's 1 inch thick, okay? They measure lumber this way, they measure all kinds of things this way, but in the particular case of closed cell spray foam insulation, at least the kits that come with the 2 tanks and you spray it on, you got to know the number of board feet you need. So needing to know the number of board feet I needed to do the calculations on how much spray foam to buy, I sat down and I just kind of did a rough estimate, and usually rough estimates are close enough for something like this, of the size of each of the sides, subtracting like the window openings and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so I did that for all of the surfaces under the top, the roof, everything. And I came up with that I was going to need 244 board feet of foam. Now, conveniently, there is no 250 foot kit. They were like 210 or something like that. And they were rather expensive at like $450 for 210 board feet. Well, 210 board feet wasn't going to do this, okay, so I was concerned about that. The other thing that you got to keep in mind whenever you're ordering something like that is waste. If you're like me, you've never done it before. You've never put spray foam up. You're not going to be good at it to start. You're going to probably have to do a lot of trimming. So you're going to spray this with the spray foam. It's going to expand out. Then you're going to have to come in here somehow and trim this down flush. And so that to me looked like it was going to be a bit of a problem. The other thing is that you're going to have waste, you know, the waste of getting the gun to work properly. You know, there's all these things that go into it. That's a long way to say that I knew 240 feet wasn't going to do the job, and so I figured I probably need at least 300. Well, again, no kit fell into that. I was looking to have to buy 2 kits, whatever the case may be. So it really turned into an economic thing where it was going to cost probably $500, $600, maybe $700 just to insulate this with the closed cell spray foam. And so I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I got lucky about 2 weeks ago, and I happened to get online, was browsing around, sitting out here taking a break, and I found at Lowe's they had 3/4 inch polyisocyanurate foam. This stuff, okay? It also has, oh, I just bumped you. It also has this reflective, what they call radiant layer on it as well. And that's important because that improves the R value of the sheet. Let's talk about the R values that you can get with the various products. So with closed cell spray foam, R8 is about what you get per inch. This is 1.5 inches. You're going to get an R of about 7.5. It works out to an R value of about 5 to the inch. It's not quite as efficient as the closed cell spray foam. With the 3/4, you're going to get 75% of 5, which is roughly 3.5. Okay, so you got R 3.5, R 7.5. R3.5 on the walls. Yellow. Blooper reel. R3.5 in the walls felt pretty pitiful to me, and I really wanted to beef it up. One of the other things that's important, at least in this rebuild, is that I am reusing the old siding. Okay, so I need to keep the dimensions and everything just about the same as they were, and that brought up an issue with this. This stuff here, which is like a craft paper almost like stuff, and it has a little bit of foam fill in the middle. Can you see that? Here. The foam in there, and turn around here so you can see, okay, was all on the outside here, over the top of the existing fiberglass insulation, which is what was there before. I imagine it gives you a little more R value, but the issue I have is that the space that it takes up, it's roughly maybe 3/16 of an inch, something like that. And so I needed to make that up. And I was online looking for insulation, and I found this stuff. This is not sponsored, but this is from a company called Insulation Marketplace. Yeah, they're just an Amazon company probably, you know, that buys this stuff wholesale. But this is Smart Shield 5mm radiant barrier with foam insulation. Let me show you. So you can see here, this has a radiant barrier on both sides, and it has this foam core, right, that has air trapped in it. And on the Amazon listing, they claim that you get your R value of 15.6, up to 15.6. They don't really come right out and tell you what the R value will be, unlike this insulation sheet. But the thing that makes this stuff work is the double radiant barrier. So what radiant barriers do is when thermal energy comes in, it has a certain wavelength, and this is designed to bounce it off. So the thermal energy bounces off this shiny surface, even if it's buried underneath siding or whatever the case may be. So I'm hopeful that this is going to be a decent product. I got enough to do the sides. The top I'm not going to do. I'll do under the deck over there. Now we'll keep our fingers crossed that it works pretty good. So I have a couple thoughts when you're doing your estimate. Don't get all hung up with all of the structure and everything that's in there, okay? Don't go through and measure every bay, okay? That's a waste of time. I mean, if you're into that, go for it, but don't waste your time with that. All you need to do is, like I did in this, and just do some rough dimensions, okay? Measure the areas, okay? Estimate about how much of the space is taken up by members. You know, that's about 6 inches, that's about 4 inches. There's 10 inches there that you could take out, quote unquote, take out of the number of board feet you need. You know, then you've got like this opening where you don't have any insulation. The openings matter, right? Especially an opening this big. So, but again, just rough estimates. They don't have to be exact. And that's what I did in here. So after you've kind of done your rough estimates, as you can see here, I just did rough estimates. Let me turn around here so I can use my right hand and hold it up here so you can see. I'll take some slides of this so you can see it. But anyway, so like here's the cab over sides. Okay, I decided they were 5 feet by 3 feet. So that gives us 15 square feet. Okay. There's 2 windows in the side. They were both about a square foot, approximately. So you can see here, I just kind of did rough estimates. And so what I came up with is, as I mentioned, I had 244 board feet of closed cell spray foam, plus my waste and overspray and everything else. On the foam board, I decided I needed 6 sheets of 1.5 inches. On the 3/4 inch, I needed 8 sheets. Okay, and I just went through again and I just did some rough estimates. I'll have plenty left over, I know that for sure. But the bottom line is, and what it really came down to was cost. I figured I was going to be $600 or $700 in the spray foam to do this, and then I would have a lot left over, which would probably go to waste because you got to use that stuff right away, and I really don't need it anywhere else at this particular point in time. The other thing was I still needed to make up that distance, right? Even if I did the spray foam, there's no way you could get it accurate enough overspraying it to get that 3/16 of an inch that I have to make up because of this, okay? And so this stuff is damn near the same thickness. I mean, it might be slightly thicker. Let's see. Oops, I'm kind of mashing that. Let's get down here where it hasn't been mashed. So if you look at that, can you see that? I'll scroll you down here so you can see. I'd say that's almost exactly the same thickness. But my point was I was still going to have to buy that to make up the difference on the walls. So that's kind of where I'm at with the insulation. In the next episode, we're going to actually start installing the insulation. I've done some research on what I think is going to be the best way to kind of glue it in place. It doesn't need to be glued down really well. It just needs to be held in place long enough that you can get the siding over it. So if you found value in this video, give me that thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, ring that notification bell. There's still a ton of videos to come in the Truck Camper Restoration series. I'll put links to all the stuff that I got from Amazon. It's not really practical to order the foam board online and have it delivered, because by the time you get it delivered, your expense is way high. But the other parts, that roll of super insulation, some of the other things that you'll see me use in the next episode are all going to be listed in the video description. Keep in mind that as an Amazon affiliate, I get a small commission, but you pay the same price. You'll also find other affiliate links in the video description, and any support that you'd like to give to the channel will be greatly appreciated, and I thank you in advance. But that'll have to do it. Thanks so much for watching this episode of the Truck Camper Restoration series. Until we get together the next time, peace.